around for the rebound and taken away by Stark, who wants to run the break. Here comes the freight train. Stark down the lane, shut off, kicks it outside for Kessler, launches a three. It's well short. Loose ball taken away off the floor by Stark, skips it into the far corner for Hunt. Now comes back to the top. Open three on the way for Sanchez is up and good again. Second three-pointer for the freshman Sanchez. Makes it 22-2 in the early going. Still 3:50 left to play in this opening quarter. And this has the makings of a long night for the Centurions. Again, just in their first year as a basketball program. Matched up against a talented and athletic Bruins program. There's a steal in the open floor by Liana Hunt. The left-handed layup is good. And that's going to draw a timeout. The second one of the quarter already from Coach Curtis Jones. After Liana Hunt rather, just took that ball right out of the hands of Christina Garner. Making the score 24-2. Still 3.5 minutes left to play in this opening quarter. It's a full timeout, so we'll take it as well. 24-2 our score with 3:33 left to play in the quarter here on the Bruin Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back here at courtside at the Pope Activity Center on the campus of Piedmont International University. It's the home opener for the Lady Bruins and first-year head coach Takara Tatum. And her Lady Bruins in control of this game in the early going, leading it 24-2. Same five back out there for the Lady Bruins after the timeout a moment ago. And the same five as well for the Centurions. The Bruin men will be in action tomorrow night against the same Centurions team. We'll have that game for you beginning at 6:55 with a 7 o'clock tip-off from right back here at the Pope Activity Center. There's another steal in the open floor. This time it's Arian Rumpf, goes in one-on-one with McCray, lays it in with the foul. Good, strong move by Arian Rumpf, who shook off the contact from McCray, scores it with the bucket. The second basket of the ball game for the big sophomore. And now one more at the line for Rumpf. Free throw rolls over the front of the rim and off. Rebound, though, taken away inside by Edwards, who puts it back up. No, but a foul. Jamie Edwards into the game for the first time. She'll go to the line now for two, as was the sixth team foul against the Centurions in the quarter, so putting the Lady Bruins in the bonus, and the first free throw is good for Edwards. Second free throw on the way. That one up and good as well. 28-2 as now we get more substitutions. Custodio back into the game, along with Montgomery. Nani Kumba returns as well. And Sydney Harrison, so most of the starters back out there for the Bruins on this trip. Nearly a steal again, just across the midcourt stripe. Now numbers back the other way for the Centurions, but can't do anything with it. Scramble for the ball underneath the hoop, taken away by Thompson. Kicks it out to the near side. An open three for Griffin is no good. And then the Bruins, battling for the rebound, come up with it as J.B. Edwards secures the board. And with the Bruins in the bonus, that means we'll walk to the other end of the floor and shoot a couple. Still 2:41 left to play in this opening quarter, with the Bruins in firm control. And Edwards actually was not the person who was fouled. It was Montgomery, so it'll be her first trip to the line. She's got two in the game. First trip to the line for her. First free throw on the way. It's up and good. So one more at the stripe for another of the new additions to this team. Malaya Montgomery, second free throw. Off the front of the rim, and the rebound nearly secured by the Centurions, but instead it's taken away underneath by Kumba, who puts it back up and in. And then stepping over the line on the ensuing inbounds pass was Christina Garner. Right off the inbounds pass underneath the basket. Couple of opportunities added underneath the hoop by Kumba. Couldn't finish either one. Ball was knocked away from behind. The Bruins will keep it. 2:27 left to play in the quarter. Montgomery will trigger the inbound. Looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. Lobs it up for Edwards. Pass is deflected. Comes right to Custodio. Puts up the floater. That's no good. Second chance opportunity. Rolls in, but an offensive foul over the back on Nani Kumba. And so the Centurions avoid disaster. Further disaster, I should say. Trailing 31-2. As this time able to get it inbounds to Griffin up the far side of the floor with a left-hand dribble. Griffin turns the corner into the lane, kicks it on the baseline, far side of the floor, an air ball by McCray. A weak side rebound, though, taken away by Glenn. Fires up a three from the near side. That's an air ball, and the weak side rebound is tapped out of bounds. Last touch off of the Bruins and Sydney Harrison. The Centurions will keep it with a fresh shot clock and 2 minutes even to play in the quarter. Glenn will throw it in, gets it to a cutting McLeod down the middle, or McCray down the middle of the floor. Couldn't handle the pass. It's stolen away by the Bruins, who have a run out the other way. Montgomery goes in with a right-hand layup. She missed it, and a rebound taken away by the Centurions. And Coker. Coker now part of a 4-on-1, leads it ahead underneath for McCray for the easy layup. Second basket of the game for the Centurions, first for McCray. And that all started with that missed transition layup by the Bruins. Right at the free throw line, Edwards with a short jumper, no. Bruins battling each other for the offensive rebound. Montgomery shovels it back to Edwards, steps around a defender, tried to bank it, no good. Montgomery another rebound. This time the rebound comes down to Kumba, who puts it up and in. The Bruins dominating the glass right now, and really dominating every phase of this basketball game. Leading at 33-4 as the Centurions trying to get it across the midcourt stripe with Coker. Coker matched up one-on-one with Montgomery, then nearly threw the ball away. Trying to save it on the near sideline and going diving into the crowd was Coker. But she was the last to touch it, and so her efforts will go for naught. And the Bruins will have it back with 1:02 left to play in the quarter. Sydney Harrison will handle it out front. Quick substitution for the Centurions before the start of the play. McCray will exit. And Tiara Thompson will check back in. Sydney Harrison will run the point guard spot around the screen from Edwards. Down low inside, finds a backdoor cutting Montgomery for an easy layup for the Bruins. Well executed play that time to make it 35-4. Second field goal of the game for Montgomery. Under a minute to play in this opening quarter. Glenn trying to get it to the middle of the floor for Griffin. Makes a nice catch. Nice drop-off pass. Couldn't finish the layup. In tight, though, was Thompson. And we had a foul before the shot. And so the Centurions will keep it with 29.3 on the clock. Shot clock will be off on this possession, trying to get it inbounds in traffic. Down low for Griffin, or for Thompson rather. Thompson trying to make that catch in traffic, but falls forward, and it's whistled for the travel, and the ball will go back over to the Bruins, so we'll have an opportunity for the final shot. So the shot clock, it's not off, but it's not moving as we're under 30 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. At the top, Edwards, near side for Custodio. Bruins looking for the final shot of the quarter. Driving it inside is Harrison, but a moving screen that's going to be whistled on Jamie Edwards. And so a rare mistake in this opening quarter for the Bruins. And there's a second one, is Edwards trying to knock that ball away from Alexis Griffin, commits a second foul in as many seconds. That's team foul number 5 against the Bruins, so that'll put the Centurions at the line. And Alexis Griffin will shoot a pair, looking for her first points of the day and trying to chop into this sizable deficit for the Centurions in this opening quarter. First free throw on the way. It's off the back of the rim. Jamie Edwards will get a seat on the bench, and Alicia McLeod will return. One more at the line for Griffin, the sophomore. That one is good. So first point of the game for Griffin, 35-5. Now the Bruins will, in theory, get the final shot of the game. A little full court pressure, though, by the Centurions. Getting it ahead into the hands of Montgomery in the far corner. Down low inside with 1 second left to play, but it won't fall for McLeod, and that'll be the end of the opening 10 minutes of play. So 1 quarter down, and the Bruins in firm control of this one. They lead it 35-5. We'll have the second quarter coming up after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Hope Activity Center in Winston-Salem. The Lady Bruins with a 35-5 lead after 1 quarter of play. Lady Bruins with the ball to start this second quarter. It starts with a three-pointer by Liana Hunt that rolls off the back of the rim. Second chance opportunity. Another three-pointer by Stark is no good. Centurions trying to start the break back the other way as McCray hands it back into the hands of Glenn. Got her shot blocked by Stark, and now Stark with the loose ball leads it ahead for Liana Hunt, and the Bruins want to run. Hunt stops at the top of the key, moves it far side. An open three on the way for Sanchez. She's made 2 of them, misses that one. Second chance opportunity, though, is up and through for Stark. First basket of the game for Stark. Back the other way for the Centurions with the ball through the hands and out of bounds off of Glenn. And the Bruins will have it back in firm control of this game. Into the forecourt comes Lily Sanchez, moves it to the far side for Hunt. Not guarding her particularly close. Easy entry pass down low inside. Arian Rumpf sweeps across the lane with a hook shot, no good. Second chance opportunity up and through for Zanaya Kessler. Her first field goal of the game and at least her 4th offensive rebound. And it's 39-5. Full court pressure has been relaxed by the Bruins. Swiping at the basketball across the lane was Sanchez, but able to save the possession was McCray. Now out front for Garner with a left-hand dribble, loses her footing on the deck. The ball is going to be tied up. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the Bruins. Or at least I thought it did, but yeah, I guess it would be the Centurions' ball after the Bruins had the possession arrow to start the quarter. So the Centurions will have it as Garner will throw it in the far corner, then tries to come back to the top for Griffin, overthrow it, and it goes in the backcourt, and it's going to be an over and back. And that'll give the ball back to Piedmont. trying to build on this lead. Trinity Stark will trigger the inbound on the far side of the floor. And again, Lily Sanchez has made a couple of three-pointers in this game. We'll start things out. Back in this 2-3 zone are the Centurions, but haven't had much success with anything on the defensive end of the floor. Stark looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. Skips it across the zone for Kessler. Onto the baseline for Hunt. Passes up an open jumper to get it to Sanchez. Sanchez at the free throw line. Outside for Stark on the wing. A three-pointer skips off the back of the rim. The rebound taken away by the Centurions, who want to run back the other way as Glenn gets into the forecourt. Takes it herself all the way to the rim. Tried to bank it. Got her own miss back. Second chance is no good. Thought she was fouled in the process. The Centurion fans did as well. But the loose ball taken away by the Bruins. Here comes rumbling down the lane and then lost the basketball. And then it's tied up in the lane just after Krishana Glenn had tried to come out of the pack with it. Zanaya Kessler, though, preventing the break by tying the ball up. 7:47 left to play in this first half, as Tiara Thompson will return and Krishana Glenn will sit. Triggering the inbound is Hunt. Throws it up to the top of the key for Arian Rumpf. Tries to drive it inside. Banks it off the window a little bit too strong. And then over the back, trying to go for that offensive rebound was Kessler. But good position for the miss for the Centurions. And so the ball will stay with the Bruins, or with the Centurions, rather. 39-5 if you're just joining us. Bruins scored the first 12 points of the game and haven't really looked back since. Kiana Coker with it out front. Matched up against the much bigger Stark. Moves it on to the near wing for Garner. Garner fires a three from the near side and knocks down. So Christina Garner with her second basket. She's got 5 in the game. Makes it 39-8 as the Bruins come back the other way with Liana Hunt driving it into the paint. Kicks it up to the top. Sanchez, another three on the way. That one an air ball. And it'll go out of bounds back over to the Centurions. So it'll be Centurion basketball, but not before we get wholesale substitutions for the Bruins. Montgomery back into the game along with Sydney Harrison. Lyra Custodio returning as well. And Alicia puts it away. Coomer pats her chest and says, "My bad." As the Centurions trying to come back the other way, picking up her dribble. And Alicia McLeod and up the middle of the floor. Here comes Harrison as she crosses the Bruin midcourt logo over to the far side of the floor for Montgomery. Now side to side, man-to-man defense on this trip for the Centurions. Up fakes the three, does Harrison onto the baseline, into the corner for Custodio that gets the ball tied up. It'll be a jump ball, and this time the Bruins will have the possession arrow. So the Centurions will have the basketball on the alternating possession. 6:02 left to play in this first half. Long outlet pass stolen away by Montgomery. Leads it back ahead for Harrison. Harrison 2-on-1 finds Custodio, who lays it in with the right hand. So Custodio with her first field goal. She's got 4 in the game to make it 41-8. And now the Centurions will have the basketball, leading 41-8. Or the Bruins, rather, with the 41-8 lead. The Centurions with the ball. There's another steal in the open floor, this time by Nani Kumba, who steps on the sideline, though, before she could lead the break, as Custodio was out with her. But instead, the Centurions will get the ball back with 5:35 left to play in the second quarter. Very balanced in the score sheet right now for the Bruins. Again, leading this game by 33, but with no player with more than 6 points. As the inbound comes for Coker at the top, matched up with Harrison. Then a reach-in foul. It's going to go against Harrison. Second team foul in the quarter against the Bruins. So the Centurions will keep it and will inbound on the far sideline. Krishana Glenn will throw it in. Defended on that sideline by Kumbo. Throws it in for Coker. Coker again matched up with Harrison, one-on-one. Man-to-man defense for the Bruins, getting into the high post area at the free throw line, nearly stolen away from Thompson. But able to save the possession after Thompson got tied up by McLeod. Now down low, spinning across the lane is Griffin. Lost the basketball. It's loose on the floor, picked up by the Centurions. Back into the hands of Thompson, trying to clear a little bit of space. Gets the shot blocked out of bounds as the shot clock expires. And a terrific defensive trip for the Bruins ends in a turnover. And the Bruins will get it back, leading by 33. Up the middle of the floor, Sydney Harrison with the basketball. Back in the 2-3 zone on this trip are the Centurions to the near side for Kumba. Kumba flashing to the high post, backdoor cut inside along the baseline for McLeod, and McLeod with the right-handed layup. Second field goal for her. She's got 4 in the game, and it's 43-8 with 4:40 left to play in this first half. Centurions with the basketball, trying to get it to the free throw line area, but a steal stolen away by the Bruins. A 3-on-none break, and it's Alicia McLeod out ahead of the crowd who lays it in, and that'll draw a timeout from Coach Curtis Jones. And the Centurions, it's a full timeout, and we'll take it as well with 4:26 left to play in this opening half. And the Bruins on top of the Centurions from Carolina Christian College, 45-8 here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. We'll welcome you back to courtside at the Pope Activity Center on the campus of Piedmont International University here in Winston-Salem, where the Lady Bruins on top of the visitors from Carolina Christian College, 45-8 with 4:26 left to play in this first half. The Centurions in the road black uniforms with the yellow trim moving from left to right. The Bruins in the home whites trimmed the blue and gray moving from right to left. Out front with the basketball is number 15, Christina Garner. The freshman with 5 points leads the Centurions. Griffin comes back to the top for McCray. McCray onto the baseline. Good little move, driving across the lane, but shot swatted away by Kumba. Came right back into the hands, though, of Garner, who banks in a 3 from the near wing. And Christina Garner has her second three-pointer of the night. 45-11 now. Nani Kumba spiking that attempted shot by Griffin, but right into the hands of Garner. The Bruins trying to answer, driving along the baseline, going with the up and under. Layup attempt was McLeod, but got tied up underneath the basket. It'll be a jump ball. Bruins will keep it. Check that, the possession arrow was wrong, and so the Centurions will get it back. With Garner throwing the ball away, stolen away by Montgomery, out ahead, 1-on-none, and lays it in with the right hand. So another basket in transition off a turnover by Montgomery. She's got 7 in the game. And the lead is 36, and now Garner tied up right across the midcourt stripe, but a reach-in foul that's going to go against Montgomery. As she and Custodio tried to tie up the ball, but instead it will be a foul against Montgomery, and the Centurions will keep the basketball, throwing it in the backcourt. Ball was deflected by Montgomery, who's absolutely everywhere defensively. Able to save the possession, though, is Carolina Christian College. Glenn throws up a wild shot off the side of the glass. Loose ball picked up off the floor by Griffin, puts it up off the window, no, but a foul inside against Montgomery, who again has been just absolutely everywhere. Picks up her second foul in the last minute or so. And to the free throw line will go Alexis Griffin, the sophomore. Made 1 of 2 in her earlier trip to the free throw line. We're going to get wholesale substitutions for the Lady Bruins after the first free throw. Centurions in the bonus the rest of the way, as that's team foul number 4. First free throw rattles out. Lily Sanchez back into the game along with Jamie Edwards and Trinity Stark. Arian Rumpf and Liana Hunt also join her, so essentially a hockey line change for the Bruins, who probably a little bit refreshing to be able to do that after not being able to do it a year ago. Misses the second free throw, does Griffin, and the rebound taken away by Hunt in transition. Nobody picks her up, drives right down the lane, and lays it in with the right hand. Third basket of the game for Liana Hunt. She's got 6. 49-10 their score with 2:40 left to play in this first half. Alexis Griffin with the ball out front, matched up against the much larger Rumpf, who pokes at the ball, knocked it away, but not far enough away to create the turnover. 15 on the shot clock as Rumpf again gets her hands in there and tries to knock it away from Glenn. Knocks it out of bounds, and the Centurions will keep it. Inbounding on the near sideline, moving to your right. Christina Garner will throw it in, who has 8 points to lead the Centurions in this game. In fact, is the leading scorer in the ball game for either side. Throws into the backcourt for McCray. McCray trying to hand it back to Garner perilously, but able to make the catch as Garner spins in the lane, double team, throws it away. Jamie Edwards with the steal, goes in one-on-one against McCray. A little hop step, puts up the floater, no. Got her own miss back, kicks it out to the far wing for Sanchez, steps inside the three-point line and knocks down the 15-footer. 8 in the game for Sanchez. Now the Bruins leading scorer on the day. To make it 51-10. Clock running. Under 2 minutes left to play in the half. Inbounds pass is deflected by Rumpf. Rumpf back to the near wing for Sanchez. Tees up an open three. That one's going to be off to the left. Rumpf in position for the rebound, and the putback is good. 6 in the game off the bench for Arian Rumpf. As Garner lobs it up over the top of the defense for the Bruins. Into the forecourt comes Glenn, tries to get it down low underneath the hoop for Griffin, but the pass too tall. Griffin about 5'7", would have needed to be about 6 feet even to catch that one. It'll be Bruin basketball with 1:36 left to play in the first half. Griffin will get a seat on the bench for the Centurions. And Kiana Coker will return. 2-3 zone again on this trip for the Bruins to the high post area for Rumpf. Just bullies her way to the rim, lays it up, no. Left it a little bit short, but a foul. So Rumpf will be at the line for a pair. A reminder that tonight at the Pope Activity Center, the food drive going on down at the entryway here on the campus of Piedmont International University. First free throw open good for Rumpf. Say Thanksgiving food drive to help those in the community. As the second free throw good for Rumpf as well. So an opportunity as you come in to donate anything. 55-11 our score as the Centurions back the other way, trying to bank it, no good for McCray. Loose ball taken away by Edwards. Good lead pass out ahead for Hunt. Hunt trying to go inside, but shut off there as the defense retreats back. Hands it off to Edwards, trailing the play on the baseline, and knocks down the jumper, does Edwards. She's got 4 in the game now. 57-10 is the score as they change that Garner 3 to a 2. Jumper on the way from McCray is no good. Rebound taken away by the Bruins, under a minute to play. Sanchez nearly lost the basketball, finds Rumpf cutting down the lane, lay it up, scored, and a foul. Second and 1 opportunity for Arian Rumpf. 59-10 now with a free throw to come. And an opportunity to widen the lead. With 43.8 on the game clock in this first half. Free throw rolls off the front of the rim. Edwards there for the putback and the foul. Jamie Edwards just sneaks inside, grabs the rebound, got 2 hands shoved in the back, still able to maintain the body control to put that in off the glass. And now Edwards with a 3-point play opportunity. She's got 6 in the game off the bench. Again, tremendously balanced scoring as the free throw is good. 7 in the game for her. Arian Rumpf after that make a moment ago. The first player into double figures for the Bruins. She has 10. And the score is 62-10. With 30 seconds left to play in this opening half as Coker gets all the way to the rim. Nice drop off underneath for Griffin, who lays it in with the right hand. First basket of the game, first field goal of the game, I should say, for Alexis Griffin. She's got 3 in the game now with 20 seconds left and the clock running. The Bruins will play for the final shot of the half as Lily Sanchez, who made her first couple of three-point attempts, stands just outside the volleyball logo between the rings. Moves it over to the far wing for Hunt. Hunt down low for Rump. Puts it on the deck. Left-hand dribble. Right-hand layup is no good. Rebound taken away underneath the basket by McCray with 1 second left, and that'll be the end of the first half. So the Bruins with an absolutely dominating performance in the opening 20 minutes of play. And through the first 2 quarters, they have themselves a 62-12 lead. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have a quick look at some of the scoring as we get into the Bruins halftime report coming up after this as we continue with our coverage of Bruins basketball on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Dave Shook back with you here at courtside at the Pope Activity Center on the campus of Piedmont International University. 2 minutes or so left before the end of halftime as we welcome you back to courtside. 62-12 is the score at the break. The Bruins in firm control of this one, and as advertised, a very talented group and a very deep group as well. As we take a look at some of the first half numbers from the opening 20 minutes, the leading scorer in the ball game is Arian Rumpf, coming off the bench, has 10 points in the game, including a couple of and-one opportunities. Elsewhere, though, very balanced scoring in the score sheet. Lily Sanchez has 8 points on a couple of made three-pointers, then two players, with 7 points each, including Jamie Edwards and Malaya Montgomery. 6 points apiece for Liana Hunt, Alicia McLeod, and Nani Kumba. And then 4 points in the ball game as well for Lyra Custodio. And then finally, Sydney Harrison with 2 points, and Trinity Stark also with 2 to round out the scoring for the Bruins. So yes, just about everybody who has played has scored thus far today. So a very balanced attacks for the Bruins. And then on the other side for the Centurions, don't have nearly the depth or the talent level that this Lady Bruins team does. Christina Garner leads the way, has 7 points in the game. Alexis Griffin has 3. Latoya McRae with 2 to round out all of the excessive scoring numbers for the Centurions during the first half. So 62-12 is the score. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll have a look at the keys to the second half, and then we'll have the final 20 minutes of action for you coming up from the Pope Activity Center here in Winston-Salem after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back here at courtside in Winston-Salem as we get underway with the start of the second half. The Bruins will have the basketball as we switch ends of the floor. The Bruins in the home whites, trimmed in the blue and gray, moving from left to right across your radio dial, computer screen, smartphone, tablet, what other extraneous devices you're using to access today's broadcast. As Custodio fires a three, it rattles halfway down and out. An offensive rebound by Montgomery is no good, and then a putback on the weak side is up and through for Nani Kumba. And so the Bruins pick up the third quarter the same way they ended the second, with relentless offensive rebounding as they balloon this lead further out. 64-12 is our score. Dave Shook with you here at courtside as the Lady Bruins participating in their home opener tonight. 1 week later than it was supposed to be. As you might recall, they were supposed to play Voorhees College out of South Carolina a week ago, but there was some event of note going on a Tuesday in November last week that the Pope Activity Center was unavailable, and so that game was moved to South Carolina. They'll come back here to play that game in January, as putting it up, a contested layup attempt by McLeod, as Mason Cox, our engineer, does not understand the concept of sarcasm, noting that it was the election day last week, and so the gym was occupied, and so the Lady Bruins home opener was pushed back to tonight. 66-12 after the layup by McLeod a moment ago in traffic. Trying to answer with a 2-pointer rather is Christina Garner. 9 points in the game for her. 66-14 in favor of the Bruins. As to the near side, it's Montgomery with the basketball, moving it back to the top into the hands of Harrison. Far side for Custodio, open for three off the front of the rim. Battle for the rebound, good position by Montgomery, takes it right away, kicks it back to the top. Harrison's open for a three, that's no good. More good positioning for offensive rebounds. Putback is no good again, this time by Kumba, battling for her own miss, and then it's tied up underneath the basket, and we'll get a jump ball. And this one will go back over to the Centurions, I believe, unless it's a reach-in foul, but it's not, it's a jump ball, and so the Centurions will get it back. If you wanted to nitpick in anything for the Lady Bruins, it's been the three-point shooting. Aside from a couple of makes by Lily Sanchez, the Lady Bruins have not shot it well from the three-point line today. We'll see if they can improve on that as this half moves along, with Kiana Coker out there, side to side with Griffin across this zone defense to open up this third quarter for the Lady Bruins. First time we've seen them at anything but man-to-man, giving themselves an opportunity to work on some different defensive strategies. As driving it inside is Coker, skips it off the back of the rim, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins, and then a foul in the backcourt. That's going to go against Coker, who reached in on Nani Kumba, who was trying to get out in transition for the Lady Bruins. And so it'll be Lady Bruin basketball moving from left to right. Alicia McLeod will throw it in, as the Centurions will retreat back into a 2-3 zone on this trip. Check that, a little bit of a 2-3 zone. Far side of the floor, thought about the three, did Kumba. Picks up her dribble, now moves it inside for McLeod. Little turnaround jumper is no good. Tried to get her own miss back, but it's taken away by the Centurions, who will come back the other way. 2-on-2 back the other direction as Glenn gets all the way to the rim, kicks it back to the top for Coker. Coker skips it to the far side for Garner. Garner moves it into the far corner for Griffin. And now Griffin on the far wing will fire a three. It's an air ball, misses everything as the breeze comes whipping through the building here in Winston-Salem, and it'll go back over to the Bruins, who want to run back the other way off the miss. Custodio back to the top into the hands of Harrison. Near side for Montgomery as they move it side to side against this zone defense. Custodio to the high post area for Kumba. Back into the far corner. Custodio for three off the front of the rim. The rebound taken away again by Montgomery, who's been absolutely everywhere on both ends of the floor. Shovels it underneath the basket. Missed the shot in tight to McLeod. Montgomery and the miss. Puts it back up, no good. Got her own miss back and kicks it back to the top, and a fresh shot clock for Harrison and the Bruins. Kumba with the basketball on the far side of the floor, looking for some help. Comes back to the top for Harrison, drives into the lane and sucks the defense to her. Kicks it back out, down to 15 on the shot clock. As Kumba skips it to the near side for Custodio, a little hop step, puts it up off the window and lays it in. 6 in the game now for Lyra Custodio, another of the newcomers for this Lady Bruin team. 6:04 left to play in this third quarter. The Lady Bruins in control, leading 68-14. Onto the baseline, fell asleep, did the Lady Bruin defense that time, and Alexis Griffin all by herself underneath the hoop lays it in, her second field goal. She's got 5 in the game now, 68-16. As we'll get substitutions at the next whistle for the Lady Bruins. Custodio with it to the top for Montgomery. Far side of the floor for Harrison and into the corner. Custodio will try another three. This one hits off the back of the rim. And again, it's Montgomery in there for the miss. Shovels into the corner on the near side with a fresh shot clock for Kumba. Tries to get it down low for Custodio, but a 3-second violation will give the ball back over to the Centurions. We don't have the rebounding numbers in front of us, but if I had to guess, I'd bet Montgomery's got at least 12 of them. 5 or 6 of them of the offensive variety, and she's in line potentially to be our player of the game when we get to the post-game show coming up after the conclusion of this one. Substitutions will get Lily Sanchez back into the game. Arian Rumpf also returns. Anaya Kessler, Liana Hunt, and Trinity Stark getting their first run of the second half as they all collectively drop into a 3-2 zone. We'll see how the Centurions want to attack it. As we approach the 5-minute mark, Garner will attack it by launching a three from 30 feet away and coming up about a foot short. And the ball will go back over to the Lady Bruins. Into the forecourt goes Sanchez to the far side of the floor for Hunt. Back to the near side on the skip pass, down low inside. Stark finds Kessler, back to the top. Open three on the way for Hunt. That sits off the front of the rim. Battle for the miss, and Kessler comes out of there with it. And then she's fouled going back up for the second chance opportunity, and she'll get herself to the free throw line. Nia Kessler's done a very nice job off the bench as well. Just dominating the glass. And on the offensive end, they've done a tremendous job getting second chance opportunities. And it's hard to nitpick at a basketball game when you're winning by 54, but if you were going to nitpick at it, the three-point shooting's not been spectacular for this Lady Bruin team, but the offensive rebounding prowess has really cleared up a lot of the issues in that area. But when the competition level goes up, certainly that will be more of a factor. But for the moment, Nia Kessler at the free throw line, where she's 2 of 4 today. First one on the way. Gets off to the right. So one more at the line for the junior Kessler. High arching free throw, drops through that time for Kessler. She's got 5 in the game. 69-16 our score. Clock running with 4:40 left to play in this third quarter. Trying to get all the way to the rim are the Centurions. Kick it out into the far corner. Missed the three. Did McCray on that kick out pass from Coker. Bruins back the other way as Trinity Stark mishandled that pass and then took a little extra step. And so the ball will go back over to the Centurions. 4:30 left to play in the third. Coker with the basketball across the midcourt logo, standing on top of that Bruins logo. Comes to the near side for Glenn. Glenn trying to go backdoor inside. Pass was deflected by Stark. Comes right back into the hands of the Centurions, though. Trying to bank in a three was Griffin, and the loose ball taken away by Kessler. Long lead ahead into the corner for Hunt. Puts it on the deck with the right hand. Gets all the way to the rim. Missed the layup hard off the back of the rim. Rebound is kicked out beyond the three-point line. On the floor for it is Lily Sanchez, battling for it, and we're going to get a kickball. And so the ball will stay with the Bruins with a semi-new shot clock, now down to 25, but not quite fresh. Hunt with the basketball to the near side for Arian Rumpf on the skip pass back to the top. Sanchez into the corner for Hunt. Thought about the three. Instead, a dangerous skip pass comes right into the hands of Arian Rumpf, who drives right down the lane and scores from the right side of the lane. 12 in the game for Rumpf to lead all scorers. He's had a nice day today off the bench. Just as she did last year, has a real knack for using that wide frame of hers to clear space and be able to get the ball up on the rim and take contact. Trinity Stark now out defending against Glenn, and Glenn drives into the lane, barrels into Arian Rumpf, and just as we were talking about the stout frame of Rumpf, Glenn bouncing off her like a Super Bowl, but Rumpf will be whistled for the foul, and it will be Centurion basketball. 71-16 the score with 3:19 left to play in this third quarter. Inbound comes from McCray into the corner for Coker. Coker, watched closely by Hunt. Man-to-man defense again for the Bruins on this trip after zone for a couple. Driving it inside is Garner with the left hand. Coker tries to get it onto the baseline for Glenn. Back up top, Coker a three. Hits off to the left of the rim, and the rebound taken away by Kessler, who nearly traveled with it, but able to save the possession. Leads it ahead for Sanchez, directing traffic onto the baseline for Hunt. Hunt drops it off for the cutting Rumpf, and Rumpf lays it in with the left hand. Rumpf again continues to pile up the points. She's got 14 now. Part of a very balanced scoring attack in this game for the Lady Bruins, who lead at 73-16. 2.5 to play in the third. Coker just right of the lane for Griffin. Griffin tries to bank in a turnaround jumper that's no good, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Rumpf leading the break down the floor, gets all the way to the rim, kicks it back into the corner for Hunt. Back up top for Sanchez. Thought about the three. Instead, up fakes it, drives around, banks it off the window and in from the right side. Lily Sanchez, her fourth basket of the game. She's got 10. Second player for the Bruins into double figures. Also has a couple of threes to her credit, 75-16. 2 minutes even left to play in the quarter. Kiana Coker with it out front. Watched closely by Sanchez. Coker to the far wing to the top for Garner. Sanchez picks her up in a switch. Garner puts it on the deck with the right hand, tries to get into the lane, but is tied up and fouled. Foul's going to be on Sanchez, and that will put Christina Garner at the line for repair. Garner has 9 points in the game, bidding to become the first Centurion player into double figures tonight. First free throw on the way, rolls in. 10 in the game for the freshman Garner. One more at the stripe. Second one off the front of the rim, and the rebound taken away by Trinity Stark. Stark leading the break, gets it ahead to Sanchez, nearly dragged that back foot, able to save it, finds Stark at the free throw line, down low underneath for Hunt, no good, with the tap up is no good again for Kessler, but Kessler this time on the third chance opportunity is fouled, and Kessler will go to the line for 2 more. Kessler is 3 of 6 at the line today, has a slew of offensive rebounds to her credit. You can put 2 more in her tally after that trip. Has 5 points in the game and a chance to make it a couple more. High arching free throw, hits off to the right. One more at the line for the 5'11 junior Kessler. One of just a handful of returning players on the roster tonight for this Lady Bruin team from last season. Kessler makes the second. Now with 6 in the game, and the lead is 76-17. 90 seconds to play in the quarter. Coker with the basketball out front. Sanchez watching her as they move it on to the far wing. Griffin tied up along the sideline and then whistled for the travel as the Bruins began to trap things on the sideline a little bit, forcing the turnover and giving the ball back over to the Lady Bruins with 1:09 to play in the quarter. See if they can continue to build on this lead. Lady Bruins will take part in the Converse College tournament beginning this weekend, starting on Friday down in South Carolina. Well, they'll take on the host team, or check that. They'll take on Southern Wesleyan and then the host team on Friday and Saturday. Sanchez right in the lane. Jumper is up and through. Lily Sanchez continues to shoot it well. Has 12 in the game. 78-17 as we're under a minute to play. Driving it inside is Coker. Nearly got the ball knocked away. Did get it knocked away. Fortunately for the Centurions, came right into the hands of Griffin, who misses the shot in tight just to the right of the lane, and the loose ball taken away by Stark. Stark leads the break in transition. Down low inside, Rumpf is going to be whistled for the travel as she was looking for body contact coming from behind and didn't realize that Garner was a step or two off of her. So we'll come back to the play with the shot clock off and under 20 seconds to play in this third quarter. The Lady Bruin lead has ballooned to 61 at 78-17. Coker will fire the contested three, hits off the back of the rim, and the rebound taken away by Stark. Long lead ahead for Hunt. Hunt goes in one-on-one, reverse layup, no. 3 seconds left to play in the quarter. Scramble for it on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball just as the quarter comes to an end. And I believe we're going to wipe that away and just call it the end of the third quarter, and we are. So the Lady Bruins continue to build on their lead, now 78-17 at the end of 3 quarters of play. The final exciting conclusion. The last 10 minutes of the game on the way after this here on the Bruin Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. The exciting conclusion of today's game. 10 minutes left to play in the ball game, and the home opener for the Lady Bruins, who lead at 78-17, just underway at the start of the fourth quarter. Montgomery kicks it down low inside for McLeod. McLeod along the baseline for Custodio. It rolls around the rim 3 or 4 times and drops in. So the Lady Bruins continue to dominate the ball game as Lyric Custodio, now with 8 points in the game, makes it 80-17 if you're just joining us. The Lady Bruins scored the first 12 points of the game, and that was something of an omen of the way this one was going to go. And now a turnover against the Centurions, and LaTroya McCray gives the ball back over to the Lady Bruins, who want to push things in transition. Long lead-ahead pass, trying to get it from McLeod, knocked away, though, and stolen by the Centurions. Bit of a careless pass that time by Harrison, but hey, when you're up by 63, you can do those things. Back the other way for Christina Garner into the corner. Coker, an open 3. A little bit long, and the rebound taken away on the weak side by McLeod. Nice bounce pass ahead of the crowd. Couldn't handle it, though. Kumba not able to come up with that one, as McLeod trying to thread the needle. Centurions back the other way after back-to-back turnovers by the Bruins. Coker with the basketball around the screen from Garner. Tried to get it back to her on the roll. Instead, they come to the near side. An open 2-point jumper for Glenn. Comes up a little bit short, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Long lead ahead, looking for Montgomery. A little bit over her head, though, and out of bounds on the end line. Another line change for the Bruins as Rumpf, Kessler, Stark, Edwards, and Sanchez will all return. Coker will handle the basketball out front, matched up again with Sanchez, who has been in the jersey of Coker most of the evening. Far side of the floor for Glenn, who's bodied to the floor by Zanaya Kessler. .27 left to play in the ball game. Bruins in control of this one, headed towards win number 2 on the season. Ahead of, as we mentioned earlier, a trip down to South Carolina, where they'll play 2 games in the Converse College tournament beginning on Friday. Far side of the floor, the inbound comes for Glenn. In for McCray. McCray with the right-hand dribble, moves to the far side for Griffin, drives it along the baseline. Floater hits the side of the glass. Rebound taken away by Kessler, who wants to lead the break. Kessler and Stark out ahead of the crowd. Stark not able to handle the pass. It's stolen away by the Centurions, and then a kickball that's going to go against the Centurions. And so the Bruins will get it back after a unforced error a moment ago by the Bruins. Next home game for the Bruins comes up on Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday the 24th against Erskine College. But first, a 3-game road trip for the Lady Bruins. Alexis Griffin handles it off for McCray, drives the lane with the left hand, missed the layup in tight, good rebound, and a good outlet pass by Jamie Edwards, leads it ahead for Stark. Stark a little bit out of control, gets all the way to the rim, misses the layup, second chance no, but a foul. Again, part of that Converse College tournament, the Lady Bruins will take on Southern Wesleyan University out of Spartanburg on Friday afternoon, I should say, at 4. And then on Saturday, they'll be taking on the host school, that's Converse College. And then they'll be on the road in Greensboro, back locally, take on Greensboro College on Tuesday the 20th before their next home date, again on the 24th, which will be the first of a 2-game homestand, which will see them play Erskine College and Virginia University of Lynchburg on the 27th. First at the line for Stark is no good. Keeps the score at 80-17. Second one on the way. That one hits off the front of the rim. Edwards trying to tap the rebound to herself. It's out of bounds. Last touch off of off the Bruins rather. Carolina Christian will get it back. Don't forget, we'll have the Bruin men's game tomorrow night against Carolina Christian College. Right back here at the Pope Activity Center, beginning at 6:55 as the steal by Stark. 2-on-0, leads it ahead for Rumpf, who couldn't handle the pass, and it's out of bounds. Back over to the Centurions. 6:55 will be the air time, and then 7 o'clock for the tip-off between the Bruin men and the Centurions. Last year, a very heated game that the Bruins won here. Going up with a reverse layup is no good by Garner, but a foul. Bodied on the baseline that time by Edwards. Very physical, very tense, very heated game last year between the Centurions and the Bruins. With a lot of players back for both sides, I would expect a similar game tomorrow night. You can join us right here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live for that one. Again, 7 o'clock will be the tip-off. Home opener for the Bruin men. Bruin men are off to a good start this season. 2-2 on the year. Second free throw is good for Garner. 80-18 now the score, as Garner is 2 of 4 at the stripe. Stark to the high post area for Edwards, drives it inside, and left it a little bit short off the front of the rim. Nearly came up with her own miss, but it's tapped to Garner. Garner gets rid of it for McCray. And now McCray will bring it into the forecourt for Carolina Christian College. Garner on the far wing, backs up toward the volleyball line. Edwards watching her, giving her a little bit of space. As Coker with the right-hand dribble, gets all the way to the rim. Nice drop off underneath, couldn't finish the layup, did McCray. And the loose ball taken away by the Bruins as Arian Rumpf trying to lead the break back the other way. Rumbles right down the lane, all the way off the window and in. Arian Rumpf, a freight train rolling down the lane, and I don't blame anybody for Carolina Christian College for getting out of the way of that one. I don't think I'd want to be in the way of that either. Back the other way, equally easy layup for Krishana Glenn, who gets into the scorebook for the Centurions to make it 82-20. And Coach Takara Tatum, I think, is going to have a discussion with her group about playing the full 40 minutes and not allowing easy baskets like that one, as the Bruins were a little slow back in transition that time, to make it 82-20 with 6:16 left to play in the ball game. Told you earlier, the Bruin men will be back here tomorrow night for their home opener against Carolina Christian College. Just a short homestand before they get back out on the road. Only one home game between the beginning of the season and the end of November. They'll be home for this game tomorrow night, and then 3 more on the road at Cumberland's out in Kentucky, Belmont Abbey, Division II school, and then Lees McRae, also a Division II, before they come back home for the game on Thanksgiving weekend on that Sunday, November 25th, against Weber International out of Florida. Very challenging non-conference schedule with a slew of Division II teams, and then a Division I team as well, where they'll take on Charleston Southern down in South Carolina just after the new year. Is out of the timeout. Missing the jumper is Sanchez. Rumpf has the rebound, and the putback is good. 18 in the game for Rumpf. Full court pressure again for the Bruins as Sanchez comes up with the steal in the backcourt. Sanchez comes to the near side for Montgomery, drives it in with the right hand and spins it off the window and in. 9 in the game for Montgomery. And then trying to throw it in on the baseline was Garner, but then a whistle and a timeout, I believe, that came over from the Centurion sideline just as they were running out of time trying to get that ball in bounds. Coach Curtis Jones calls a timeout. 5:45 left to play in this fourth and final quarter as the Lady Bruins are headed for win number 2 on the season. Have been in control pretty much since the very beginning of this game. They scored the first 12 points and haven't looked back since. 2 players in double figures for the Lady Bruins, just 2 players. Gives you an idea how dominant they've been. So much balance in the score sheet. With, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other players with 6 points or more in the game. Centurions will have the basketball on the baseline again against full court pressure for the Bruins. As Sanchez knocks it out of bounds, trying to get it in for Griffin. Garner again will try to trigger the inbound. Throws it in for Glenn, but Glenn not able to handle the pass, and it rolls out of bounds on the end line, and the Bruins will get it back. Quickly cutting down the lane is Montgomery, who lays it up and in right off the inbounds pass, and a good find from Nani Kumba. And then a steal again in the backcourt, this time for Rumpf. As the Bruins trying to build on this lead, but then another turnover as the Centurions come up with the steal. McRae goes back the other way, a right-handed layup too strong. Offensive rebound and a putback. That one rolls off no good for Griffin, and the rebound taken away by Sanchez. Long lead ahead. A nice catch by Kumba. Kumba pulls up just inside the free throw line. A little bit too strong with the jumper. Rumpf taps the rebound to herself and lays it in with the left hand. 20 in the game now for Arian Rumpf. And there's another steal in the backcourt, again for Rumpf. Rumpf takes the body contact, puts it up with the right hand, no good, but a foul. And a technical foul has also been handed out, as Kiana Coker, I believe, picked that one up for arguing with the officials. And so she's going to walk to the other end and have a word with her coach. And we'll see now what the situation is going to be, because I believe that would leave the Centurions with just one other player left. Coker in frustration is going to go to the bench. And so it'll be Arian Rumpf at the free throw line, and in kind of a weird twist, something we've seen occasionally in recent years. A short bench for the Centurions is going to leave them with just 4 players on the court to finish this game over the final 5:02. As Rumpf misses the front end of the 2 free throws on the technical side. As Coker exits the game, scoreless today. Second free throw is good for Rumpf, again, who has a game-high 21 points now. And now Rumpf will get the 2 free throws for the foul that was committed. The Centurions do have one other player that's on their roster. That's Tiara Thompson. But she has not played since the first half. You wonder if some type of injury for her. So kind of a weird way to close, kind of an odd game tonight with the score at 91-20. Rumpf has one more at the line. Has made one of these 3. Misses that one as well. Rebound comes right back to her, puts it up with the left hand and lays it in. Much easier to get it in from that close, I suppose. 23 in the game for Rumpf, 93-20. Bruins creeping towards the century mark. Back the other way off the inbound as Griffin gets all the way to the rim and lays it in. 7 in the game for Griffin, who's been a little bit of a factor for this Centurion team in the second half. And now again, a 4-person zone out there for the Centurions as Sanchez launches a jumper from the baseline that's hard off the back of the rim. Rebound taken away by McCray. Centurions into the forecourt with it with McCray. McCray cutting across the lane for Griffin. Jumper on the way is good. Again, Griffin has been a little bit of a factor in this second half. And that's going to draw another timeout from Coach Tatum. Just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here with 4:23 left to play in the game. And in kind of a nod to how odd this game has been at times, Coach Curtis Jones with a smile on his face as he high-fives his team coming back to the bench after the timeout for managing to score 2 buckets in a row with only 4 players on the floor against a Bruin defense that has been ferocious at times tonight. Out of the timeout, it'll be Bruin basketball. Custodio, Harrison, Sanchez, Rumpf, and Kumba out there for the Bruins. Far side of the floor for Sanchez to Custodio, back to Sanchez. Same spot she missed that jumper a moment ago, misses it again. This time the rebound taken away again by the Centurions, and then Custodio nearly had a steal, but was already looking down the floor to see what to do with the ball before she caught it. And as a result, drops it out of bounds on the sideline. And the ball will go back over to the Centurions as the Bruins will make a quick sub. Sanchez will get a rest. Liana Hunt will check back in. Still 4:07 left to play in the game. Garner with the basketball. Left-hand dribble being hounded by Harrison. Around the screen at the top from Griffin. Stops at the free throw line, hands it back for Griffin. Fires a jumper. Tried to bank it, no good. And the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Kumba stops at the free throw line, down low inside for Hunt. Good post position, misses the layup. Rebound taken away by the Centurions. Back the other way is Glenn. Spins into the lane. Little short jumper got deflected inside, and Rumpf takes it away. Rumpf will bring it up the floor. Right-hand dribble, puts her head down, gets all the way to the rim. The seas part like the Red Sea, and she lays it up and in with the right hand. Again, that's just a freight train rolling down the lane, and the Centurions want absolutely no part of stepping in front of that. 95-24, 26 in the game, or 25 in the game for Rumpf. 3:09 left to play in the game, and then a jump ball as the ball is tied up on the baseline. As Griffin nearly lost possession. Rumpf will go to the bench with 25, a really impressive effort for her. Back into the game comes Alicia McLeod, as well as McLeod back into the game as the ball is thrown into the backcourt. Tracking it down for the Centurions is Glenn. Glenn spins away from the double team. Nice ball handling skills on display right there. Coming from behind, a double team on Griffin though, and that's with the shot clock expiring. And that'll be a quick turnover for the Centurions, not aware of the shot clock. Frankly, neither was I. 95-24 with 2:45 left to play in the ball game. Bruins looking to crack the century mark as Custodio moves it into the corner. Left all alone is Liana Hunt, comes back to the top for Custodio. Now into the lane, little short jumper is no good. In tight by Harrison, and loose ball taken away by the Centurions. 2.5 to play, little full court pressure by the Bruins. Able to break it though are the Centurions as Garner. One-handed push pass onto the baseline. Jumper is no good for Glenn. Rebound taken away by the Bruins. Kumba into the forecourt. Nice little crossover and the hop step and lays it up and in. Does Kumba. Kumba becomes the third player into double figures for the Bruins with 10. Check that, the fourth player. Montgomery reached double figures earlier as well. Pull-up three-pointer off the front of the rim for Griffin. As the game becomes very helter-skelter as we move into the final 2 minutes. Right down the lane goes Kumba onto the baseline. Custodio with a right-hand layup. Too strong off the window. Rebound battled for and taken away by McRae and the Centurions. 97-24. Griffin with a basketball, spins away from the defensive pressure. Push shot is no good. Off the back of the rim, and the rebound taken away by Custodio. One-on-one in the open floor. Hunt trying to get all the way to the rim, but dribbled it off her foot. Last touch, though, off of the Centurions as Arian Rumpf will return. And Liana Hunt will exit. Harrison will throw it in, gets it into the corner for Kumba. Down low for McLeod. McLeod misses a little turnaround hook shot. Ball nearly saved in bounds by Kumba, but it's out of bounds as she stepped on the end line, or the sideline rather. And the ball will go back over to the Centurions with 90 seconds left to play in the game. Garner will throw it in for Griffin. Griffin along that far sideline, narrowly avoiding another turnover. Hands it back for Garner, who brings it into the forecourt. Stops at the three-point line, a little hesitation dribble, and then has it taken away. Out ahead of the crowd on the break is Kumba, makes the catch. Right-handed scoop shot is up and through. 12 in the game for Kumba. 99-24 as we enter the final minute of play. Bruins maybe with one more opportunity to crack the century mark. Pass intended for Garner, deflected out of bounds by Kumba. Again, a reminder, we'll hear from head coach Takara Tatum coming up after the ball game, as well as our player of the game. Number of candidates to choose from as the ball stolen away by Kumba. Kumba goes in with a right-hand layup, and there's the century mark. 101-24. Glenn across the timeline, splits a double team, gets into the lane. Little floater on the way, too strong off the window. McLeod taps the rebound out of bounds with 34 seconds left to play. It'll be Centurion basketball with 22 on the shot clock. And then presumably the Bruins would dribble it out. Garner throws it into the top for Glenn. Glenn down the lane, floater on the way, hits off the back of the rim. The rebound taken away by McLeod. McLeod instead will run the break, leads it out ahead, and lays it up and in. 10 in the game from McLeod, the fifth Bruin player into double figures. 22 seconds left. Shot clock is off. We'll see if the Centurions want to run another play. They're not going to get the opportunity to find out as Garner drops the ball out of bounds on a poor pass. And now with 17 seconds left, the shot clock is off, and we'll see what the Bruins want to do. Looks like they'll bring it across the midcourt stripe and hold the ball, and that'll be the final possession of the ball game. So the Bruins pick up win number 2 on the season. They'll move to 2-3 on the year, a 103-24 win, a dominating performance here tonight at the Pope Activity Center in the home opener for head coach Takara Tatum in her first year. 5 players in double figures, and the Bruins roll. 103-24 is the final score. Our post-game show is coming up after this. We'll hear from head coach Takara Tatum, as well as our player of the game coming up after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back here at courtside at the Pope Activity Center on the campus of Piedmont International University, our final score, it's the Bruins 103 and the Centurions from Carolina Christian College 24. We're joined now by head coach Takara Tatum. Coach, thanks for joining us. Congratulations. That's a heck of a home opener.
Thank you. Yes, it was a great opportunity for us. I like everything that we was able to come out and show for our first home showing.
Talk about some of the players that really had an impact on this game. I think certainly the player standing to your left right now, Arian Rump, one of the few holdovers from last season's team, really contributed. She's such a physical presence under the basket, and so many players have such a hard time getting around her to get rebounds. She just makes such an impact on the floor, it seems like, all the time.
Yes, absolutely. We try to put emphasis on her size and helping her on the offensive and defensive rebounds, and we kind of got her going tonight, and she's performed very well.
Another one of the players that stood out to me among some of the newcomers was Malaya Montgomery, too. She kind of gets it done on the glass too, but maybe in a different way. She just seems like she's a tornado of energy defensively, just seems to be absolutely everywhere on both sides of the floor. Just talk about her energy level and what she brings to this group.
Yes, Malaya's definitely our motor of the team. She gets us going, so we kind of feed off of her energy, and she's always on the go, so we like what she brings to the table.
Now, as a team tonight, one of the things that was most impressive to me, at least, was the balance in the score sheet. Through the first 6 minutes or so, you had 8 baskets by 7 different players, and then over the course of the game, you had 8 different players that had at least 6 points in this game. Does that speak to the depth that this group has?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you've been following, but we're averaging about 80 to 90 points a game, and we're very unselfish, so I like what we're doing offensively. We're sharing the ball, and we're getting everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of depth and a lot of unselfishness. Like you said, this team passes the ball really well. Defensively, too, can really get after it. You start looking ahead now towards the tournament coming up in South Carolina this weekend. Talk about some of the things you want to apply from this game and some of the earlier ones to going into a tournament setting this weekend down in South Carolina.
Well, we've definitely been putting a lot of emphasis on defense. We need to sit down and play on-the-ball defense and switch on screens a lot better. But other than defense, we know we can go offensively. We just have to sit down and shut somebody down on defense.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Thank
and we'll talk
again.
to you again when you guys get back.
All right.
That's head coach Takara Tatum joining us here. The final score 103-24, and we're going to talk with our co-players of the game coming up here in just a moment. We're going to start with Arian Rumpf, who is one of the few returning players on this team from a season ago. Arian, last season, compare it to what it's like this year. You have so much more depth, so many more bodies just in general, but the constant seems to be your ability to get rebounds, to be able to score around the basket, and just create a lot of second chance opportunities for your team.
Coming into a new program, I knew that it was going to be tougher with new coaches, new players, getting to know everybody, how they play the game. We have more players this year. They're a lot unselfish. Over the summer, I talked to Coach, and she told me what she was looking for when I come in, to go out and be me, get rebounds, do what I got to do.
He finished with 25 points in this game, a lot of them via the second chance variety. But how often do you see it when you're rumbling down the floor towards the basket? How often do you see teams just get out of your way, essentially, not wanting to stand in front of you on the break like that?
Once I get going, a lot of people don't like to be in the way. They get in foul trouble. So I take the opportunity I get when I get it.
I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to stand in front of you either coming down the lane. Talk about what maybe is the biggest difference between last year and this year for you as a player, because it seems like while you've got a lot of the same skill set, maybe a little bit physically stronger, what are you trying to work on more this season as a second-year player?
I'm trying to become a better rebounder, get double-doubles each game, just trying to improve my stats from last year. A new coaching staff, but they came in with the same energy. They all push me to go further when I feel like I want to give up. They all tell me to keep going. They believe in me, and that's all I can ask for, people to help believe in me, boost my confidence.
Well, a really impressive night tonight. Again, 25 points. Congratulations on the win, and we'll talk to you guys when you get back from South Carolina.
Thank you.
That's Arian Rump, one of our co-players of the game tonight, finishing with 25 points. That was a game high. And now we'll chat with one of the other players who had a real impact on this game. That's Malaya Montgomery. We talked to one of the players that was a holdover from last year's team. How about one of the newcomers, Malaya Montgomery? We were just talking about it with Coach Tatum a minute ago. You are just this whirling ball of energy, it seems like, on both ends of the floor. She called you the motor of this team. What does it mean to you to hear that from your coach?
It means a lot. It keeps me going. With my teammates behind me giving me energy, I can go out and do what I do best on the court.
There was a stretch at one point in the second quarter of this game where I think I said your name 6 times in a row on the defensive end, where you had a deflection, a steal, a rebound, and a basket. What are you trying to accomplish a lot of the time when you're out there on the floor? Are you trying to be just absolutely everywhere at all the time?
Yeah. Being out there gives us extra chance, like extra opportunities to score. Out for loose balls, anything counts. So I just try to give my 110% on the court to help our team win as best as I can.
And you finished with 11 points today. Now, as a true freshman, a lot of the times you see freshmen come in and they're not really sure how they're supposed to play, where they're supposed to be on the floor. We don't see any of that with you. You look real confident out there. How comfortable has it been for you being on the floor as a first-year player this year?
It wasn't comfortable at all at first. I had to get used to it. You know, I have upperclassmen that put their all into it, and I just try to compete for the next spot on the floor. Going in, I don't really know what to say.
Well, it was a really impressive effort. And now, before the season, certainly a lot of talk about how much better this team was going to be from last year's group. What are some of the goals that this team has for itself as this season moves along?
A national championship.
National championship. That's ambitious goal. We like the confidence.
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of action still to come. You guys have played some really tough games, and now coming up this weekend, you'll be down in South Carolina for a tournament.
Yes,
how excited are you to get a chance to play in a tournament setting coming up this weekend down in South Carolina?
I'm excited. It's my first college tournament, so I'm going to give it my all, and it's right in my hometown, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Malaya, for your time today. Best of luck down in South Carolina. We'll see you guys when you get back. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's Malaya Montgomery, one of the true freshmen on this team, one of the newcomers, finishing with 11 points in the game, one of 5 players in double figures for the Bruins, who win this one 103-24 today over the Centurions from Carolina Christian College. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have one last look at the final numbers of today's game here on the Bruin Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back here at courtside as we wrap things up, 103-24, the final scores. The Lady Bruins pick up win number 2 of the season, move to 2-3 on the year, handing Carolina Christian College their 4th loss of the season. Dave Shook with you back here at courtside at the Pope Activity Center in Winston-Salem as we take a look at some of the final numbers from today. Leading scorer in the ball game, as we mentioned, was Arian Rumpf, who was our co-player of the game, finishing with 25 points in the ball game. She was one of 5 players in double figures. Nani Kumba also in double figures today, finishing with 14 points. Lily Sanchez finished with 12, 11 points for Malaya Montgomery, and then 10 points in the game as well for Alicia McLeod. A couple of other players in the scorebook as well, with Lyra Custodio finishing with 8 points, Jamie Edwards with 7, Zanaya Kessler finishing with 6, including a slew of offensive rebounds, Liana Hunt also with 6 points, and then Sydney Harrison rounding out the scoring with 2. On the other side for the Centurions from Carolina Christian College, the leading scorer in the ball game was Christina Garner, who finished with 11 points in the game, near double figures, but not quite there. Alexis Griffin finishing with 9, and then 2 points each for LaTroya McCray and Krishana Glenn. So 103-24 is the final score. We'll put this one in the book, and then we'll move on to tomorrow night's broadcast. Again, a reminder that the Piedmont International University Bruin men's team will take on the same Carolina Christian College team. That will be tomorrow night. 7 o'clock will be the tip-off as they take on the Centurions right back here at the Pope Activity Center. I'll have that game for you beginning at 6:55. The Lady Bruins will be back in action again coming up after the weekend trip down to South Carolina. They'll be in Spartanburg for a 2-game tournament against Southern Wesleyan University and Converse College this weekend on Friday and Saturday. They'll take on Greensboro College on Tuesday over in Greensboro before coming back home for Thanksgiving weekend to take on Erskine College as well as Virginia University of Lynchburg on Tuesday the 27th. And we'll have all those games for you. Make sure to visit PIUBruins.com for more information. So that's the final word on today's game. 103-24 is the final score as the Lady Bruins pick up win number 2 on the season. I'm Dave Shook, and you heard it all right here on the Bruin Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Good night, everybody.